know a lot of people have a lot of expertise and they want to be able to monetize that expertise. And so this is a great way for you to turn some of that knowledge, some of those skills that you actually either have harnessed over the years, and now you can actually turn it into a business by helping other people solve the problem that you have solved. It took me a long time to start my first business because I was so doubtful, so fearful about what I might do, had no idea where to start. But when I was a full-time engineer, I finally made the decision to actually become a professional photographer, and that was me turning a hobby into a profession. I stumbled and I took years and years to get the things that should have taken weeks, and it took me a long time to do because I had no idea what I was doing. Well, over the years, I've built many more companies since that first photography business, and I've generated over $6 million in the revenue in all the businesses that I've created over the years. Now I'm actually helping people create their own businesses and to escape that 9-to-5 like I did many years ago. Let's jump right into it. On the first step, I call this step administration. So the first thing you want to do is decide whether you actually want to operate as a business in the name of the business. The simplest thing, and the one I would recommend, is that you go with your business name as your name. And that's very easy because if you decide to be a life coach and switch over to being a business coach, you can still use your name. So I recommend that. You can choose to create an LLC or a sole proprietor. And when you actually register your business name, the next thing you want to do is actually get a bank account with that business name. The reason I'm telling you guys you need to do this, and it's not necessary right away, because it may take you a little bit while before you even earn your first bit of money, but what it really does is that it triggers in your mind and it tells you that you're taking this thing seriously and you're opening a bank account and registering the business name. Those actually help you psychologically get in the mode of creating this business, and that's why I think it's important to start it out. Another thing you want to be able to do is set up what we call a payment portal, a payment processor. You have a couple different options to be able to accept payment. We wanted to set it up as a business because yes, they can probably use Venmo or Zelle, but what you want to be able to do is register as a business so that when you guys get the reports at the end of the year, it actually is registered under the business. The thing that I recommend the most is Stripe, and they allow you to accept payment internationally, which is a huge thing, especially on an online coaching business. You could have clients all over the world, and when you want to be able to process that payment, it's actually no issue whatsoever. There are other options. You can use Zelle, which is a Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, and a couple other banks network where you can transfer within your network. Another thing is PayPal. So PayPal actually is a really useful tool, but the issue with it, it doesn't use international payments, and receive international payments could be a hindrance. I've actually had some friends that actually had issues when they processed large amounts of revenue from their coaching business, and PayPal actually froze their accounts because they looked fraudulent, because they were making so much money in their coaching business that they stopped it because they thought it was a money laundering. My number one recommendation is go to Stripe. It may take you 15 minutes at the most to get this thing set up, and it's actually super easy. After you get your payment portal and merchant processing set up, the next thing you want to do is actually set up what we call a appointment setting tool. It's a free app. You can use Acuity, you can use Calendly. That's CALENDLY.com. I personally use Calendly. The reason is it's very simple to use. What you are able to do is create an availability calendar and create a type of meeting that you want to be able to set. And if you have a Zoom account, you can actually integrate it with your Zoom. So what you do with this appointment software is that you send a link out to your prospect to book a time with you that you are available. And when you do that, they get a reminder, as well as they get a Zoom link set up because you integrated it with your Zoom, and you're able to create a brand new meeting through this app. And so you get a notification, they get a notification, and it's all set up for you so that you're not going back and forth with your prospect about setting up a time when they are available and you are available. So it saves the lockup back and forth. Hands down, awesome tool. You can actually go and use it for a long time with just a free version of it, but it limits you in the number of types of meetings that you can set and types of appointments you can set. So when you're first starting out, what you guys want to do is really try to minimize your expenses. And so use a free app, use it as much as you can, until you've outgrown it and then upgrade to the paid version, okay? I do the same thing. I use it for probably 5 months before I actually upgraded to the paid version. Another area that you need to set up is actually your contract, a coaching agreement. There are many samples of these types of agreements out there. One thing you want to make sure you do is set up some kind of a coaching agreement that you have with your prospect, because what that does is it formalizes the relationship. It communicates actually what the expectations are and what they are to expect and what you're expecting of them and how they need to show up as well. And obviously the details about your program, how long your coaching sessions are, how many coaching sessions they're buying, and obviously you want to add in a little bit of privacy policy and things like that. If you go to some of these online temp websites like LegalZoom, they do have some of these sample contracts that you can use for your coaching business. I highly recommend it so that you can protect yourself, protect the client. All right, guys, step number 2. Now we're actually starting getting into the nitty-gritty of actually creating this business, okay? So the next thing you want to do is actually create and figure out what the problem you are solving. As a coach, what you're trying to do is you are solving a problem that somebody needs help with. That skill that you have, either you gotten it from your past hobbies, whether you solved that problem yourself in your own life, maybe it's like a weight loss and now you're suddenly became a trainer because you've lost so much weight. There's many things you can coach about. This is right now defining what that problem is. What we want to do is actually separate the problem into 2 areas. One is an external problem. What is it that they're trying to solve? What is a outward problem that you're trying to solve? In terms of fitness, it could be like, I want to lose 30 pounds. So that's the external. Now, what you also want to do is dig a little deeper and figure out what's the internal problem that you're actually trying to solve for your client. Because most of the external problems, that's the thing that they want, but the things that they truly need and the things that they struggle with and why they haven't lost weight, it's usually an internal thing. So it's usually about emotional eating or about food trauma or whatever it is. There's a lot of psychological reasons why people do or don't do certain things. And so I want you to write that down. Write down what the external problem you're solving for your client, and also write down what the internal problems they're struggling with. Because when you understand this, when you actually know what's truly causing them to do or not do the thing that's in their best interest, you've actually probably overcome a lot of these things externally as well as internally. So this should be an easy job for you to do. And I want you to make sure that you write all this down, because we're going to use all this information in the next steps. Jumping into step number 3. Step number 3 is the person. Who are you solving this problem for? Okay, so you have to come up with what we call an ICA, an ideal client avatar, an idea of who this person is, everything about it. The more detailed you become, that you gather about this person, the more clear and the more easy it is for you to picture you talking to this person, you writing social media posts and directed toward this person. I did this exercise myself, and it was such an eye-opening experience when I wrote down the person's name. I gave that my avatar name. I found a picture online of who this person might be, and then I wrote down what their job is, if they're married, if they're single, what age, if they have kids, what they like to do for fun, what are they scared about, who influences them, what part of the world they live in. The more defined, the better and more clear your messaging will be to this person. Another thing you want to think about is what this person struggles with. What keeps them up at night? And you can actually have 2 to 3 people instead of just having one person. Jumping into step number 4, this next one is called the promise. All right, what are you promising that's going to happen for this person when they work with you? Meaning, what transformation are they going to experience when they're working with you? They need to know what problem you solve for them, what is the outcome they're going to get. Remember, guys, people are not paying for information, they're paying for a transformation. They're paying for you to change them from the person who they currently are to the person that they'd want to be. I want you to be crystal clear what this person is going to get. List all the benefits out, list all the things that's going to happen for them, what's going to change in their life when they work with you. This is very important that you do this part. Step number 5 is actually setting up your social media. As a coach, you're going to have a presence on social media so that you can actually get your message out there to the people that you need to be speaking to, that you're called to serve. Okay, so what you want to be able to do is set up your Instagram profile and your Facebook profile and your other profiles to actually share with people what it is that you do. Let people know what it is that you do and what you help people with and who do you help. And so what you want to be able to do is set up your social media, and then you're going to start posting content that actually is related to your audience and your topic. One thing I really want to point out, you guys, is that people often tell you that you got to be on all these different platforms, and what I'm going to tell you is what's worked for me is that what you want to do first is get on one platform, the one that you're most active in, the one that you're most comfortable in, and actually master that platform first and get really good at it, get really consistent, start getting some momentum with it, and then expand to other platforms. Because if you're trying to post on Facebook and then post on Instagram and then post on TikTok and post on Twitter and all these different things, you're going to be spread too thin, and then your message is going to be diluted and it's not going to be nearly as effective. So master one platform first, whether it's YouTube, whether it is Facebook, whether it is Instagram, whatever you decide, pick one, master it, and then expand to the other platforms. Now that you've gotten the first 5 things done, now you've actually set up the foundation already to start and actually start engaging with your prospects. Okay, so now you're basically ready to launch. And so now you're going to start creating content on your Facebook profile, in other people's groups and things like that. So there's 4 types of messages or 4 questions that you answer when you create content. First of all, they want to know who you are, right? And so the types of posts that you say who you are, types of posts are like origin stories, your backstory. How did you get to where you are at today? So your backstory is, how did you get to where you are now? What you do. How you write these types of posts is that you share about the things that you've done within that specific area where you coach, whether you've helped some people with it, how you overcome some of these challenges that you help people with yourself. Okay? What you want to do in the third type of post is, who do you do it for? This is when you start writing posts about some of the client results that you've gotten or things that you've accomplished for yourself, and then you want to be able to help other people. And then the fourth type of post is the call to action. If you are struggling with this type of, here's a lead magnet, here is a free PDF that I created to help you, and that's a call to action. That's having people identify themselves, and those type of things, those type of posts will let people know who you help. And so those people that fit that profile, they'll actually reach out to you and ask you, hey, yes, give me that PDF, give me that ebook, give me that little video, the free video that you've created for you to be able to give to them. And so those types of posts, so it's about who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and how you can do it for them. Those types of posts are what gets you momentum and actually lets people know how you are able to do what you do and how you can help them achieve the result that you've achieved yourself. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you guys really enjoyed it, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so that you can actually get updates about when we release the next video. And if you're somebody that could really benefit from this channel and this type of content, please share it. We would love to grow our community and get more people to take that step of actually starting that business and escaping that 9-to-5. Thank you so much for your time, guys. So let me ask you this. What business have you been wanting to start, and what type of coach are you going to be when you launch that?